What's going on, people? I'm back. This is Zach from Chesapeake. Just wanted to check in real quick, give my thoughts about a couple of different topics here. First, on this one, I'm just going to do the Senate race that I saw here on back in Arizona. The the race between Kerry Lake, the Republican, and Ruben Gilligo, the Democrat. I follow both of these people because I like to get different perspectives. I want to see what's going on both sides. I want to see who's lying. I want to see who's making good points, who's avoiding questions, who has the better ideas. So I like to get a whole bunch of different, um, perspectives. One thing I was noticing about this race though is this real like MAGA versus um, liberal, basically. And I was looking at this post that I have up here on Twitter, and basically he's losing Ruben. He's losing to Kerry Lake, but he calls her a MAGA extremist, and so like I said, I just want to ask questions and just think, right? So I'm just wondering, what is a MAGA extremist? What are the beliefs and the actions of a MAGA extremist? Um, and if it's bad to be a MAGA extremist, or is it illegal to be a MAGA extremist? Or like, what does he want to happen to all MAGA extremists? Is a question I have. Now he's saying that he's pacing behind and he's asking for more money. These people they raise a lot of money, and it's like we got people out here struggling, and Kerry Lake, Ruben, and this cinema person, the independent. They're raising a lot of money, but this money that they're raising, I'm guessing, is going to be in the millions, right? But that money can go to things that actually make the state a better state for everybody. And so this is my issue I have with a lot of the politics nowadays. It's almost like, I won't even say it's almost like when you talk to people and when you see people, this is what what I perceive it to be. They look at these politicians as people that are actually going to solve their problems, but in many cases, a lot of these politicians have gotten us into problems. They really aren't innovators or creative thinkers. They really aren't visionaries. Many of them are people that they're basically high stakes salespeople. You know, a lot of people, when you survey a lot of people, they'll tell you that they don't trust politicians, they don't believe in politicians, but yet they still vote for politicians. And some politicians, they have an office for 10, 20, 30, 40 years with not a lot of results. And that should tell you something. But I noticed that a lot of Americans are confused about how politics work or are supposed to work. They're supposed to work in your favor. The politician is supposed to come to you as a constituent and tell you what they're going to do for you. Well, first of all, they need to be asking you, because we can't. You can't say that these are visionaries and they know all the problems, because anybody can be anybody can run for office, and we need more people, just the regular Joe, to run for office instead of having somebody else take responsibility. But all three of these candidates here should be going around the neighborhoods in Arizona. They should be going to the um, like the neighborhood council meetings. They should be going to the city council meetings. They should be talking to the people and asking the people. They should be getting a list of from the people of what are the um, the common concerns and demands of the people, because a lot of times the people are asking these people are for something, and you're not supposed to ask these people. They work on your behalf. You're supposed to actually be demanding that they get stuff done. So let's just say they take the top 10 that's the most common, or maybe even the top three. Maybe they can't get all 10 done, but maybe they worry about the top three. Then what they're supposed to do is once these three candidates figure out what the top three issues are, they're supposed to be fighting it out for your vote to come up with the best idea to get to get your agenda met. They're not supposed to. What's been happening is what they'll tell you is what they can't do, and they'll tell you what they will do, something vague, and you don't deal in vagary, because when you deal in vagary, I was watching this one sales coach. He said that when you deal in vagary, basically it's up to the listener to interpret and come up with their own idea of what that person means. So you need to actually ask questions and have these politicians be specific about what they are going to do. How, I mean, that's how you do in business, right? You tell them, well, okay, well, so what are you going to do? What if I'm gonna hire you for this job? Okay, are you qualified? How are you qualified? And then when are you gonna be able to get this job done? Let's say it's a roofer. Okay, the roofer gonna tell you I can get it done for this amount of money at this time. These people, they deal in vague language. It's just up in the air, and it's just vague language. Now, what they do instead is you get a person that's a Republican or a Democrat, which usually, not in all cases, but usually it's controlled opposition. They all usually work for the same people, or at some point, they all pretty much had the same agenda, because whether it's Democrat, whether it's Republican, when it comes to the wars, they pretty much all agree on sending money to other countries to fight wars. Now, what's supposed to happen? And they supposed to say, okay, these are the top three. Let's just say um, we want small business creation. Carrie Lake is supposed to come up with a plan on how she's going to get it done. Ruben is supposed to come up with a plan, and this Sanima lady is supposed to come up with a plan. And they're going to tell you why their plan is better, how they can get it done most effectively, most efficiently, and for the least amount of money in the fastest way. This doesn't happen, and people have been voting for the same people over and over again, and we never get the same results because people don't understand politics, because people don't want to get involved in politics a lot of times. They want to cheerlead. Uh, a lot of people were miseducated in school on how politics work, and conditioned, to listen to the mainstream media and think it's us versus them. Because when you get into Democratic Party versus Republican Party, the whole country really loses, because if Carrie Lakes wins, and then she's a Republican, and then most of the Democrats, well, there's going to be a large percentage of Democrats that feel like they lost. And if Ruben Gallego wins, then a large amount of Republicans are going to be upset and feel like they lost. This is the hamster wheel that they have people going on with this controlled opposition, us versus them. Instead of, if you're going to do the job, which one of you three can get this job done most effectively, most efficiently, for the least amount of money in the fastest amount of time? And we need a definite date of when this can get done, and not Rubin saying that the Republicans blocked him, or Carrie Lake saying that the Democrats blocked her, which is what usually happens. When it comes to raising money and spending money, they don't have no problem doing that. When it comes to actually being effective and getting stuff done, closing these borders, they can't get it done. They say the Republicans and the Democrats say, oh well, we got to do something about the border. Well, do something about the border. And then it's another thing the politicians play. Another game is the plausible deniability. They try to ignore you, whether you be black, white, or whatever. They try to ignore the masses of people and act like they don't hear people's concerns. I've heard so many people from different races say, "We need a wall. We need to do something about the border. Stop letting these people in." Because first of all, they're lawbreakers coming over here illegally. We don't owe them anything. Yet neither the Republicans or the Democrats have done anything to solve that problem. So I can say, just based off of that, well, how many people are coming over here, that at the very least these people are incompetent at their job. And some people can even say, "Hey, they cool with it. This is what they want." They may or may not be. I'm the kind of person that can see different perspectives and hold multiple thoughts at one time. I can be wrong. Maybe it's not something that they want. But if it is something they want, what are the people going to do about it? Because you basically being replaced, regardless if it's on purpose or not. We have hundreds of thousands and millions of people coming over here illegally from a different culture, speaking different languages. They haven't been vetted. Nothing. They haven't been. These people are coming over here unvaccinated. It's just crazy. But that's my take on that. Carrie Lake, Ruben Gallego, and this Sinema lady, whether they be independent Democrat or Republican, they all need to be fighting for your vote and working on your behalf and actually telling you specifically what they're going to do for you because you, the constituents, have told them what your concerns are. If you're not worried about global warming, I don't want to hear Ruben talk about global warming. That's not the biggest. I worked for one of these polling companies before, and what they do is these companies, these especially the Democrats, but I'm pretty sure the Republicans do too. I just know because I worked for one that was doing Democratic surveys, but the Democrats, they have a preset list of issues that they ask the people they're polling about, and they will not really let you. If it's another issue that's not on there, they won't let you actually put that on there. So they can say, "What's your biggest concern? Global warming, the roads, or jobs?" But you might say it's something else. You might say, "Hey, I want to reverse. I don't. We need to do something about immigration." You might say, "We need more funds." You might say a lot of different things, but it's not going to be on that survey because the survey is controlled. But again, you know, people are doing this politics thing, um, backwards and ineffective. You keep complaining, but the thing is, you won't do anything differently. And like I said, man, these people, you need to start telling these people, this is what I want, and how can you get this done, and when can you get it done? And if they can't answer, whenever a person can't answer a direct question, they trying to be deceptive or hide something. So if they can't answer the direct question, just go to the next person. And if the next person is doing the same thing, that you need to get people together from your community, if not yourself, and you need to run because that's what's gonna cause change. The regular Joe running, and we need term limits. Where are the term limits at? What are some of the pros and cons of term limits? One of the pros is we can get rid of these lifetime politicians to get rich off of politics. And somebody was saying if a man gets rich by if a man becomes a politician and gets rich, that he's a crook or he's corrupt, something to that effect. But that's my take on that. We definitely got to do something different. If we see it's not working, if we see it's not getting the results we want, we got to do something different. We can't have the blue team win and then a red team lose, and everybody on the red team is upset until the blue team can get voted out again. It's just one big hamster wheel, man. And people don't seem to see it or care about it. Some people don't notice it, but some people are cool with it and they don't care. It's about making it safely to death. And as long as they don't have to take the responsibility, then it's cool.